So I was in some stock plays. I do a little trading, a little option situation, you know what I'm saying? And for a lot of people in the stock market, it's been going down. But for some people, like, oh shit, right? Because it's a thing called puts, meaning that you're kind of happy that the market is going down. Anyways, right? So with this whole Trump tariff thing, he's just been having a market seesaw. Now, it don't really hit you until it becomes personal, right? Because before, I'm like, man, fuck a tariff. You know what I'm saying? Shit go up, I got it. You know what I'm saying? $32 for some eggs, whatever. I'm just I mean, if you want an omelet. It's funny because I low-key am not mad for what he's doing because sometimes you got to break a couple of eggs. You know what I'm saying? To make an omelet. You see what I did
See
there?
what you did there. I see that.
Him trying to shake things up. You know what I mean? But it seemed like people were scrambling because they felt like, you see what I'm doing? So
That's two of them. Yeah, go ahead.
You're doing excellent.
Oh,
shit. Dude, I ain't got nothing.
Okay, we'll come back to that one.
We're going to
be here all week.
But like I was saying, okay, excuse me. So the point is that so if the market was going down, tariffs, he's going ham with China and everything like that. So honestly, I get it. A lot of people were feeling pain, concerned that their 401ks were being jeopardized. And honestly, y'all, just a little quick note, it doesn't really get jeopardized necessarily unless you pull out. You know what I'm saying? If you pull out of the position, right? If you just ride it out, because that's exactly what happened. I think midway through the week, Trump was like, hey, you know what? You guys should buy some stock today. It's a good day to buy some stocks. And then he turned around and reversed his whole tariff shit, which was terrible. I tried to make the connection. It didn't work that time. That's my bad. But anyways, it was terrible, right? And so the market just did a whole short squeeze. Anyways, the long story is Trump is fucking wilding and messing with people's money. So how do y'all feel about Trump wilding and messing with people's money?
Well, I mean, you kind of said it.
I'm all
right?
choked up.
I know, man. I know. When I talk about what Trump's doing to the economy, my gag reflex, you know what I'm saying? Wait, that didn't come out right either. Pause. Let me restart that. Something is getting penetrated, but it's not me. Anyway, so the average citizen here is really getting screwed, right? And they're getting screwed a couple of ways, right? They're getting screwed because somebody's pension was set to cash out so they can retire on that day, right? And then, whoop, there goes Trump with an announcement of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And he's got to know, somebody in his group has got to know that the markets are sensitive to his comments. Plus, the people in his circle also know what he's going to say before the public knows it, right? Like, I'm talking about, of course, people in his cabinet, right? Of course, like, maybe like the Republicans that he's good with, right? They would find out. And that seems like insider trading to me. It seems like the same thing Martha Stewart did. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe worse. He put it on his platform for, so basically, if you were in his pocket, right? If you were paying him a subscription, he gave you a little shout out about what was going on, right? And I'm about to reverse it. It's shady. Somebody should please call a man on the foolishness and the shade. You are ruining somebody got wrecked. Maybe not everybody, but some people did get wrecked because you're just announcing things that have no basis and reason or planning. You're wrecking markets. Somebody's getting rich. The people who know what you're going to say ahead of time. Yeah. They're selling and buying when it's low and everybody, somebody's making a killing. But whenever somebody's making a killing, somebody on the other side of the market is getting slaughtered. And that person who's getting slaughtered is probably living somewhere on Main Street. So I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. I'm going to stand up for Main Street America, okay? Say, please, Mr. Trump, stop playing with our economic futures, okay? Okay, for the sake of the children, okay? And their love of eggs. Okay, that's it. You're right.
Trump said, fuck them kids.
Can I
don't
say,
care about them.
Donald Trump does not care about black. No, okay, right.
No, don't do that.
It didn't work for Kanye either. Okay, I'm done before I get in trouble. Somebody help me, please.
So I'm just going to say that this was bogus to me. I think that for the most part, it was clear that it was definitely a plan to manipulate the market. And I agree. Martha Stewart should be like, hey, I need my regular sponge because I end up in jail time, house arrest. I was wearing, for the first time in my life, I had a little monitor on my phone, on my ankle, and this shit followed me, And so I think that if I was Martha and anybody else who engaged in insider trading, I'll be pulling the flag and getting mad about this stuff and saying, let me get my record sponge. But I also will note that all his insider buddies for example, MGT, aka what did Jasmine Crockett say? Beach blonde, bad built. But anyways, I ain't gonna go that way because it's not that serious for me. But with that being said, they showed that like on April 6th, April 7th, how much money she spent buying certain things and moving her money around. And then she ended up making a killing when he brought the market back. And I'm sure she's not the only one who did this. And so, in the fact that he kind of hinted at it on Truth Social, I believe it was. And I think that at the end of the day, that we should be concerned about this. And if we're not concerned about this, and even if you were one of those people who benefited from this, there's millions of people who didn't benefit from this. And it's like at some point in time, we need to have some type of care for others, because at this point, I'm like, well, damn, where's our humanity? And, I understand the whole individualism. I even understand the fact that, hey, I haven't looked at my 401k because I'm scared. I was like, oh, Lord. Whew. Oh, Lord, and so I've been avoiding it because I literally was like, I can't stand to see the gains, the losses. And so I said, this is all good, i.e. I won't look. But there are people who can't afford that because, like Jay said, there are people who's forced to retire, like in the federal government. There's also people who were scheduled to retirement and they were like, oh man, my pension's going to be this. And instead they lost like $40,000, $75,000. Now, did it rebound? I don't know what their investments were, but I think we should be concerned at this level of manipulation. And I think that at some point, there needs to be something that indicates that no one is above the law. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, I got to be a bit of a contrarian here. You know what? My bigger concern about insider trading is how many people owned stock of Pfizer and Moderna and all that stuff before the vaccines came out. That's pretty convenient, you know. Uh, so I think it's a bit of selective outrage. Like if you just Google like Nancy Pelosi stock trade, like she's probably one of the most egregious people who does this stuff. Like even if you want to say Trump's doing it, then you can't ignore what she's doing. I mean, she's outperformed in 2024. I looked this up earlier. She outperformed every hedge fund in 2024. That is mathematically impossible. Like we gotta stop this. Like if that's insider trading. Now I don't think anybody should be doing it. I don't even think Congress should really be allowed to own stocks, especially stocks that they have in companies they have oversight of, like Raytheon or Lockheed Martin, all that good stuff. But they all do it. I don't know if this necessarily fits the definition, but beating all the hedge fund managers in 2024 definitely does, because that shit's mathematically impossible. We got to call a thing a thing. That's how I see it.
My man, Delvin. Okay. First of all, Martha Stewart ain't got no motherfucking bone to pick. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? The fuck? She was doing some other little sneaky backdoor little type of shit. I mean, yeah, it was probably some bullshit. Trump listed on fucking Truth Social and whatever. He said, hey, today's a good day to buy stocks. Now, if your ass wasn't logged in to that message, that's your fault. That's not insider trading. That's outsider trading. This shit was put out there for people to consume. You know how I know? Because the market react. The people who were in the know took advantage, right? I get it. But there were some people who are not inside information trading who just understood that once that announcement was made, oh, he said buy some stocks. Yup. You know what I'm saying? It's not Trump's fault that y'all ain't paying attention to the markets like that, except to bemoan what your little fake paper money deposits look like. You know, that's not real, right? That's why I was saying at the top of the thing. Like when you look at your deposits, it says minus 23,000, right? If you look at it today, it's very possible if you did nothing, 10 years from now, it might be like 10 times that. It might be that tomorrow, like we saw yesterday. The market went nuts. A lot of the gains that were lost was from one announcement. right? So once you kind of understand, relax just a little bit, right? I get it. It sucks, right? When you're not on the inside, it sucks. Listen, I've been an inside nigga a lot of my life, and I've seen people. I remember when I was in college, right? And, I was in a fraternity, and we would do like this little line thing, right? And it was funny to watch all the people who are on the outside trying to look in, you know what I'm saying? They were like, oh my God, look at them doing their thing. I wish I knew what was going on in there. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're on the sidelines, all you can do is look and bemoan now. But the thing is, right, there's this thing called Robin Hood. So, okay, all jokes aside, I'm only partially kidding here. I get it, right? It is manipulative, but to Delvin's point, this has been happening. This is the game. To the winner goes the spoils. You know what I'm saying? I hate to tell you all that, right? He pointed out Nancy Pelosi because he was making the distinction between Republicans and Democrats and those people of that level overall. I don't understand why even people believe that this insider trader thing is not a thing already. I mean, you think people are just that tight-lipped? Like if I knew there was $1 million around the corner, and they're like, hey man, there's $1 million around the corner. You don't think I'm at least tell y'all, maybe? I guess I'll fuck with y'all for real, right? That's what this whole insider trading thing is, right? It's like, hey man, hey, you know what? Tomorrow's a good day to buy some stocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, Trump said that because he could. You know what I mean? Where? And this is speaking to somebody who was on the outside. I didn't make money. I lost money in all of this. You know what I thought when I lost money? Damn, I wish I was paying more attention. That's what I was thinking in the moment. Damn it, if I'm in the stock market, why aren't I paying attention to these things? Oh, I'm too busy working on other projects, right, to make my millions the old-fashioned way. But the point that I'm trying to make, man, I get the way. I think y'all can make some excellent points, but come on, man. I mean, the game is the game. You know what I'm saying? Hate the
No,
game.
sir.
Don't
I'm
hate the
push.
player.
I got one pushback. It's a very short pushback.
Hold on. I got
Go
you.
ahead.
One last thing. I got you. And I forgot this point. So, Jay, I feel like, and I'm glad you said something. I
Mhm.
feel like people aren't giving any credence to whether or not the whole tariff ploy was actually a tactic, right? Because, for example, if what he says is true, in the next 90 days, if he somehow, I guess, renegotiates a bunch of different tariffs that I guess he could still come back here and tout that did help America in some way, shape, or form, are y'all niggas who I guess apparently don't believe that means shit, right, gonna come back and say, hey, you know what? Because what happened was that he had the deadline. And then when the shit got to a certain point, he decided to recoil back except for China. This is chess, not checkers, right? So what I'm saying is, if it does, do you leave room for him using this as a legit tactic in order to get people to come back to the bargaining table? And if you do, then what do you say if it actually does work?
I
Or if you don't?
say no. I say it's theater, and it's theater for the uneducated or uninformed. And here's why. Because tariffs do make things more expensive, because tariffs are taxed on goods that are coming into the country. So that's whatever. But the real issue is this. Trump's main argument is that he's doing this to combat what he sees as trade imbalances, right? Trade deficits between us and other countries. You know why there's a trade imbalance or trade deficit? Because America stopped being an industrial or producing country a long time ago and became a predominantly consuming country, which means if you do more buying than you do selling, you're going to have a deficit. Right? If you don't want a deficit, you produce more. You don't just make it more expensive for people to buy what's already out there, particularly before you have the capacity in your country to meet the demand of what you're cutting off due to prices. And after an inflationary period where money is already tight. Yeah, no, I don't think it's good business. I don't think makes good sense. I don't think it's a good tactic. He brings him back to a negotiating table. It's a negotiating table that he set up to set up a treaty of an economic trade war that he started. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Sir, for solving the problem that you created that we wouldn't have had if you hadn't started poking the bear in the first place. Like, no, you don't get a pat on the back for putting out the fire that you started. No, thank you.
That's well. First of all, that's not what I said. Let's be clear.
Yeah, you said,
right?
is it possible it's a tactic that now he's just trying to bring it back to the
Correct.
table? And I'm saying the whole
If
table is theater.
no,
because that's not really America's problem.
Hold on, Jay. You clearly did not understand what I'm saying. So let
I'm
me
sorry.
explain it to you,
again.
right? If I'm paying you $10 for X, and then I say, hey, you know what? Because you paying me $10 for whatever reason, I do something to change the terms. And so now instead of me paying $10 for X, I'm paying $9 for X. And what it took was for me to have a strong negotiating stance because I felt like the 10 that you was charging me, I literally just went through this recently in terms of signing a contract. In negotiations, you have to be willing to walk away. Now, you're talking about he created a situation, but his argument is that America's been getting fucked. His position was America's, regardless of whether, bro, like, here's the thing, right? For me, I don't have to agree with the position to understand that a person can have a logical footing in the position, right? Meaning that I can disagree with it, but understand. So I'm trying to draw the scenario for you to say, because I don't think you understood what I asked you. What I said is that if he was able to come back after all this, because the truth is, when you talk about the losses, none of us sitting here are economically capable enough to talk about the losses are at this point in time, except for watching the stock market and the ticker and the conversation that we've heard, for the most part, right? These tariffs didn't necessarily go in, right? He was able to kind of pull back on them before they took effect and then gave another extension, right? So we're not talking, so then we'd have to compare the cost and the benefit analysis. So what I'm asking is if he somehow was able to come back and said, hey, I was able to take what I was paying $10 from before, now I'm paying $8. That's still a benefit. I'm talking about simple math to be able to say what I did equaled something that was better for America, right? And I'm saying if he's able to do that, what would you say to that then? That what? It just didn't happen? Something else happened? Because that's what happened when he did the whole North American trade thingy-mabobber he did before. When he came into the presidency the last time, I think under Bill Clinton, there was a North American Trade Act that was signed. He came in, shook shit up a little bit, got a new trade agreement signed between them, the two countries, and he was able to tout that there was improvements on behalf of America. So I'm going to ask one more again. Is it possible that he can legit have a tactic that he feels is going to lend to the benefit of America? Cool, you say no. But then what are you going to say then? Are you going to come back here and say, hey, man, you know what? I can't even be mad that he was doing something because you're saying you can't even see it now. That's the question I'm asking you, bro.
I'm saying he is definitely doing something. He's doing theater. And I'm saying, and it's all theater. Yet, can he come back and say, oh, look, I got this thing that was costing you $10 down to $8? Yes, he can say that. And if he would go out and set a goal in the beginning and say, hey, look, this is what I'm going to achieve, then we can measure metrics. When you go, I'm going to make big deals, big changes, the biggest you've ever seen, and you set no metrics and you set no goals, then yeah, whatever you come back with looks like a win because you never told people what to look for in the first place. You never really told them what a win looked like. You never really clearly defined the problem.
True. That's
it is.
True.
And when he speaks on it, he doesn't even speak the truth. It is. Look, talk to an economist or somebody who studied economics. Ooh,
they're all talking about the potentiality of these tariffs going in place. Get that. But they have not gone in place. Have they, sir?
They have not gone into place.
Okay, cool. So what I'm saying is up until this point, what are we talking about? It could still be viewed as a negotiating tactic, which is something akin to what he's done before.
To do
so what? I'm saying you can't even see it. Okay, so cool, we could just leave it. But I'm saying
we can agree that
if
I
you
can't
even yeah, obviously, the glasses are a little too dark, right? Because clearly,
it's not the glasses.
With the North American Trade Act, excuse me if I'm butchering it, if there's a living example of him doing something similar, I don't understand, but we can move on.
How is the economy now better than it was before the North American Free Trade Agreement?
Say again?
How is the economy now better than it was before Mr. Trump came and did his magic negotiating skills on the NAFTA North American Free Trade Agreement?
I mean, come on,
is
bro.
it
That's
better?
A really detailed.
You used it as a proof of his effectiveness, right? But different conversations.
No, hold on. This came about because I asked you a simple question. To me, if you're wrong, just admit that you're wrong. You're not admitting that you're cool. I'm saying I was supposing that if he could come back with measurable results that it did something, then I would say, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I didn't see it. Then cool, he came back. You're even disposing that's even possible. So that's when I realized
everything does something.
Conversation, bro.
Everything does something. And how you spin it or lie about
Anybody could use that to make any argument, bro.
I'm saying it won't be positive.
That's what I'm saying.
It won't be positive.
Good conversation then.
Peg it. Save this episode. It won't be positive. I don't care how you spin it. I'll come back and point out how it's not positive. Save it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So,
come back. Go ahead, Zanelle.
Yeah, I was going to say, so with that being said, we're going to put a mark on this and say, okay, let's going to see the benefits, because at the end of the day, we are in a position where we have to determine, and where proof is in the pudding, basically, at this point, and that's for all things that's presidential or not, let's be honest.
Can't even quantify what's the problem now.
And so...
one price has gone up, and y'all bitching right now.
Are you serious?
I
And
just
you
want to know
asking
this.
me, you asking me for proof, and you can't even provide proof of what the fuck you're bitching about right now.
Check the consumer price index.
Where's the proof, sir?
Check the
Not
consumer
one
price
tariff.
index.
Not
Okay,
one
so
tariff.
let me
Fuck out of here.
just say this though,
What
right?
y'all talking about?
So let me just say this in regards to the tariffs. One, I agree with Devin that the insider trading bit has been going on the Democrat and the Republican side, because otherwise, how the hell they all can be rich walking out with only $100,000 salary, and they're walking out with millions of dollars of value and so forth. So I do agree that it is an issue on both sides of the aisle.